Valerie, you held down the fort last week for all of us Occupy folk that were either at Netroots, the Democratic Convention, or at a Democratic conference in San Antonio. Thank you very much. You did a great job. Now tell me a little bit about your experience leading the video machine.
Well, it was quite interesting because we had a visitor, but he just really came to argue, and he's been here before. So, but I filmed a lot of it, and I really appreciate people like you, Egberto, and Steve, who can keep calm in trying to have a conversation, because I haven't learned that art yet. But
when you become a member of the coffee party, we are going to give you days and weeks of instructions on how to just
grin and bear it. Well, and this sign was inspired by you, because that's kind of what I think we should get the word out. It's like you either vote for the middle class or you vote for the 1%.
That is the most important thing out here. If people would realize that we are not standing against the 1%, we're just standing for the middle class. The 1% is taken care of.
Right.
We just want to stand for the middle class. Thank you for making that sign. That says it all.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much, Val.
I'm glad you're back.
All right.
All right.
MB.
Yes.
You missed Occupy Kingwood last week because you were supporting the coffee party. Tell me what happened last week.
Last week, a friend of mine who's also affiliated with the coffee party, we went down to the Democratic Convention here in the state of Texas, and we worked with the coffee party team.
Now, did you have a lot of traffic there?
It was very steady.
Were people interested in what you had to say or the philosophy of the coffee party?
Yes, many people stopped by, wanted to know what the coffee party was, and when we told them the philosophy of the coffee party, they were very interested in the idea that we actually talk and include pretty much anybody.
So you're at a partisan convention and you actually found common ground.
Almost everybody was excited about the idea.
Well, Bambi, thank you very much. You're doing exactly what we are here to do.
Thank you.
Professor Stephen Davis, as usual, we need your word of the week.
I got two things this week that are on my mind. One is the attempt of janitors downtown Houston to try to get through their union representation, their contract, to get their wages raised to something that will help a bit. Currently, the ones under union contract, and they do better than some of the others, make $8.35 an hour, which, as you know, is just abysmal. Especially people that get to work 25, maybe 30 hours a week, have limited benefits. They're trying to get their wages phased in over the next couple of years to $10 an hour, and their employers are just fighting like hell. You think it's the end of the world. And, you know, ultimately people who have so much have to give up a little bit so that hardworking people can have a little bit of a better life. It's just so telling to see the lines that are drawn in this particular case. And the other thing, frankly, is that yesterday I think the president took a bold stance. He's beginning to grow a pair, if I can use a certain expression here, in terms of his executive action in regard to the immigrants here, who are students and the like. And it has enraged the opposition, but bullied to the president for doing the right thing in this case, and just showing that he, you know, it's not going to be timid in a case where so much question of justice is involved. So I'm really encouraged by that, and hope to see more in the next few months, just taking bold action.
Professor Davis, thank you very much for your comments.
Today we're out here celebrating a half of a year, 26 weeks of protest, and I think that a lot of us didn't think that it would make it this far, but now we know that we're going to make it all the way to 52 weeks, and I think we've really had an impact here in Kingwood. We've had lots of people come by and talk to us, a lot of people who didn't agree with us, a lot of people who agree with us, but the point is that we've gotten a message across, and the people who see us here every week, hopefully, you know, they'll eventually stop and ask us what we're doing. And we've made a presence here in Kingwood, and I think that we've been effective in letting Kingwood know that there's an alternative to the conservative, Republican environment here in Kingwood.
Now, let me ask you something, Steph. Have you gotten any blowback, or is it as mellow as even a radical like myself has seen? None.
No, none. You know, the first week we had a cop come by, say hey, told them what we were doing. You know, for the most part, I think we've had more positive cheers, honks, people come by than negative. We've had a few very vocal critics, but I think we were effective in talking to them. If you watch the past weeks where some of them have been taped, you'll see that they didn't, we stayed with them, we debated with them, we stood our ground. I'm not sure if we convinced them.
I think we convinced quite a few.
I think some of them were at least gave pause to what they were thinking and made them reevaluate some of the logic behind their arguments.
Well, thank you very much, Steph. You've been instrumental in this process.
52 weeks.
Dr. Theis, message of the week.
Well, I want to address one of the fundamental myths in America today. We like to think of ourselves as a nation of entrepreneurs. That's simply inaccurate. We have the lowest rate of entrepreneurship, with the exception of Estonia and Lithuania. Over half of American workers work for companies with 250 or more employees, and we are at a historically low rate for independent self-owned businesses as a percent of the population. So, if workers don't make a decent wage, they're going to be mired in poverty. And today, the latest statistic that came out, 23% of American children live in poverty. To me, that's a disgrace.
Now, Dr. Theis, what specifically can we do to increase our proportion of entrepreneurs going forward?
Well, we need to tax big businesses and not tax individuals so much at the lower end of the economic scale. One of the things that happens is some people accumulate a lot of wealth, and then they use that to prevent entry into the marketplace. And what we really should do is be taxing working class people at a far lower rate. Their actual federal tax rates have doubled since 1955. That way, the chef at the restaurant can save his money and open his own restaurant. The construction worker can buy his tools and open his own framing crew. That's how businesses start. They don't get started by the super wealthy. If I have a huge amount of money, I don't want to open a restaurant or start a framing crew. I want to sit on the beach sipping Mai Tais, investing my money in stock market or gold. Completely unproductive enterprise.
In other words, money after money instead of money after production and services.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Theis.
All right, Egberto.
My name is Sandy.
Now, Sandy, what are you doing out here?
Well, I've decided that it's time to make a stand and use my voice. I'm tired of big corporations running our government, and I'd like to take on the democratic process and get involved and make my voice count.
Art,
Yes.
talk to me.
Well, I'm out here with Occupy Kingwood just to bring attention to some of the deficits in society, and the main one being we are no longer a government by the people, of the people, and for the people. We've become a government controlled by corporate interests and lobbyists, and the man on the little man is getting the short end of the stick.
Now, you are going to do something about that, aren't you?
Well, this is what I'm going to do about it, and I hope my vote will be important. So I do intend to vote on the side of the issues that I feel like I need to.
Art, thank you very much. Hey, Tara, you were at the Move to Amend conference with David Cobb a couple of weeks ago. What did you think about that?
He was a really good speaker.
Well, it's interesting that your sign says it all, end corporate personhood.
Right.
And that is one of the things that we're fighting for at Move to Amend.
Yeah.
You were out in San Antonio at a conference. Tell me a little bit about what that conference was all
Okay,
about.
that was a democracy commitment and public achievement program, which at the college there's a group of us. We go to Quest High School once a week and Sonora High School once a week and work with the kids in their community. It's a grassroots thing where, actually, like my group actually was working on improving their park. The park in their town just has like a swing hanging by one chain and basketball courts without nets and just dirty. And
Now, I understand also you got a pretty prestigious position. Tell me a little bit about that.
I'm going to be the regional communicator for Texas to try to get other because we're the only community college doing it right now. There's other universities that are doing it. I mean, it's actually all over the world. There's public achievement in Egypt and different countries where people are just working with kids to help them change things in the communities, working with the communities to change, to better them. It's kind of going around politics.
So you're going to work actively to get some more junior colleges?
Yeah.